Department reporter Robert Laguerre joins us now from our D.C. bureau. Robert, it's great to have you. Talk to us exactly about who is LockBit, what are the crimes that they're known for?
For years, LockBit was the king of cybercrime, a shadowy empire that turned hacking into a billion-dollar business. They didn't just steal data, they revolutionized ransomware, outsourcing attacks and treating their malware like a product to be sold. But their success became their downfall, with betrayal, leaks, and rivals threatening to destroy everything. How does a criminal empire rise so high, only to collapse under its own weight?
Necessary infrastructure across the world and basically hold those systems hostage. And so just to refresh what ransomware is, it's basically malicious software that is sent to computer systems.
LockBit didn't emerge as just another ransomware gang. It stood out right from the start in a crowded and competitive field of cybercriminal organizations. In the early years of its operation, LockBit seemed to understand that hacking wasn't just about technical prowess, but also about running an efficient operation. It wasn't a scattered group of hackers operating on whims, it was more like a well-structured company with clear objectives, roles, and strategies. This mindset gave it a massive edge over its competitors.
These encryption keys that would release the hold of the ransomware on your system. And so they have figured out a way in multiple cases now to acquire those keys and give them to victims.
When LockBit first appeared, the world of ransomware was already chaotic. Plenty of cybercriminal gangs were targeting victims, encrypting their data, and demanding ransom. However, most of these groups were amateurish in their methods. They lacked structure, which led to sloppy operations and limited reach. LockBit, on the other hand, approached the entire process systematically. They focused on making their malware tools efficient and easy to use, which not only made their attacks more effective, but also allowed them to operate on a much larger scale.
The keys they need.
There is always a digital trail, and we will find it.
One of LockBit's defining characteristics was its business-like approach. It was as if the gang's leadership looked at legitimate companies and thought, why can't we do the same, but for crime? This mindset led them to focus on efficiency and scalability. They didn't just see themselves as hackers, they saw themselves as a service provider. They treated their affiliates, the smaller cybercriminals who used their tools, more like clients. This client-centric approach meant they prioritized developing user-friendly malware and ensuring that affiliates were happy with the services they received. LockBit's initial success was a testament to this approach. It rapidly became one of the most notorious ransomware groups in the world. Their malware was not only powerful, but also adaptable, allowing it to target a wide range of victims. From small businesses to large corporations, no one seemed safe from LockBit's reach. By the time the world was taking note of their operations, LockBit had already attacked thousands of systems and extorted millions of dollars.
Where attackers could have on their systems and they would not have to pay, because these attacks can be both costly, both monetarily, and can affect the systems that then grow out and make
Ransomware attacks are one of the most devastating cybercrimes out there, and LockBit turned them into an art form. Imagine waking up one morning to find your computer completely locked, all your important files encrypted, and a message demanding payment for the key to get them back. That's the essence of a ransomware attack, and LockBit excelled at executing them. Their malware was so sophisticated that it could render a device useless in minutes, leaving victims with little choice but to pay up. What made LockBit's attacks stand out wasn't just their effectiveness, but also their speed. Traditional ransomware attacks could take weeks to fully infiltrate a system, steal data, and encrypt files. LockBit's malware, on the other hand, was so advanced that it could accomplish the same tasks in a matter of days. It was a nightmare for victims and a goldmine for the gang. LockBit also pioneered the concept of ransomware as a service RAS, which was a game changer in the world of cybercrime. Instead of carrying out attacks themselves, LockBit offered their malware as a product to affiliates. These affiliates were often smaller, less skilled cybercriminals who paid a cut of their earnings to use LockBit's tools. It was like franchising in the business world, but for ransomware. This model allowed LockBit to scale their operations massively while minimizing its own risk. What set LockBit apart in the RAS world was their treatment of affiliates. Most ransomware gangs would control the financial side of things, collecting ransom payments and then paying affiliates their share. This often led to disputes and mistrust, as affiliates felt they were being cheated. LockBit flipped the script by letting affiliates handle the payments themselves and simply taking a fixed percentage. This approach earned them the loyalty of many cybercriminals who appreciated the transparency and control.
Not just the United States, but our foreign partners as well, working together with industry to really effectuate an effective attack against what is, at the end of the day, an offense that will always have the advantage because they move first.
LockBit wasn't just a cybercriminal gang. It was a well-oiled machine that operated with the precision of a modern corporation. They didn't see themselves as criminals in the traditional sense. Instead, they saw themselves as innovators in a competitive market, using business strategies to outpace their rivals. One of their most audacious moves was introducing a bug bounty program, a concept borrowed from legitimate tech companies. Typically, companies use bug bounties to reward ethical hackers for finding vulnerabilities in their systems. LockBit twisted this idea to their advantage, offering rewards to anyone who could identify flaws in their malware or operational processes. It was a bold move, but it worked, ensuring their software remained ahead of the curve. Another key aspect of their strategy was their treatment of affiliates. Unlike most ransomware gangs, LockBit didn't try to control every aspect of the operation. They handed financial control to their affiliates, allowing them to collect ransom payments directly and then remit a fixed percentage back to LockBit. This was revolutionary. Most other gangs operated in a way that often left affiliates feeling cheated, as payments were funneled through the main gang, creating mistrust. By flipping the script, LockBit fostered loyalty and trust among its affiliates, ensuring they retained the best talent in the cybercrime world. LockBit's customization and features also set them apart. Their malware wasn't just a simple tool, it was a fully customizable product designed for maximum impact. Affiliates could choose from a range of features like self-destructing malware that erased all traces of the attack after a certain period, or automated tools that made even inexperienced hackers capable of launching devastating attacks. Their software also enabled data theft, allowing affiliates to steal sensitive information and publish it on the dark web for additional ransom. These innovations turned LockBit into the go-to provider for cybercriminals looking for cutting-edge tools.
It is unusual, however, for Ukraine to take action, for the U.S. to be part of that effort. So that's a big win, again, for the government and our relationship with Ukraine, where they're still fighting a war against Russia as well.
The driving force behind LockBit wasn't a stereotypical hacker sitting in a dark room coding all day. Instead, the leader of this infamous gang had the mindset of a savvy business executive. This person understood that success in the cybercrime world required more than just technical skills. It demanded a clear vision, strategic thinking, and the ability to adapt quickly to changing circumstances. While the leader's identity remains a mystery, their approach speaks volumes about their priorities. What truly set the LockBit leader apart was their ability to innovate. They didn't just rely on tried-and-true methods of cybercrime, they actively sought out new ways to improve their operations. Whether it was introducing a bug bounty program or creating a flexible payment model for affiliates, their focus was always on staying ahead of the competition. This business-first mindset made them more of a strategist than a hacker, and it's what allowed LockBit to dominate the ransomware world for so long.
That took place last year, they say. So let's talk to Jamil Jaffer about all of this. Jamil's the founder of the National Security Institute at George Mason University, served as counsel to the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, associate counsel.
LockBit's meteoric rise hit a major snag when they introduced their 3.0 version of the ransomware. This version was supposed to be the pinnacle of their innovation, packed with new features and capabilities. However, it came with a critical flaw, a vulnerability that had been carried over from Black Matter, an older ransomware operation. This bug wasn't just a minor hiccup, it exposed a major weakness in the software, forcing LockBit to pay $50,000 to a bug bounty hunter who identified the issue. For a gang pulling in millions, this might have seemed insignificant, but internally, it sparked a crisis.
And other places. In fact, a father-son duo in Ukraine were just arrested related to all this. This syndicate has extorted millions and millions of dollars.
The real trouble began with the developer responsible for creating LockBit 3.0. This person had also worked on Black Matter, and felt they weren't being fairly compensated for the time and effort they'd invested. When LockBit's leadership demanded the developer cover the cost of the bug bounty, tensions boiled over. Feeling unappreciated and undervalued, the developer decided to leave. But they didn't just walk away, they retaliated by leaking the source code for the ransomware builder. This was a catastrophic blow to LockBit.
The LockBit ransomware group at every level. We are also providing assistance and support to victims of the largest and most deployed ransomware variant around the world.
The leaked builder allowed anyone with basic technical skills to access and use LockBit's ransomware without paying the gang their usual 20% cut. Suddenly, copycat operations were popping up everywhere, flooding the market with imitations and driving down LockBit's influence. The once dominant gang was now facing a major identity crisis. Their affiliates, who had been their backbone, started losing faith in the operation's reliability. So, what are your thoughts on this? Subscribe and let us know in the comments below.